Hi, I'm Joshua Freedman, news editor at Rapaport, and welcome to the Rapaport Market Comment, thanks to our sponsor Rapnet. You've probably heard many times about the Kimberley Process. This entity is supposed to keep conflict diamonds out of the supply chain, but it's been locked in controversy over Russian diamonds since the country invaded Ukraine in February 2022. The organization's annual plenary in Zimbabwe ended last Friday in a deadlock. There was disagreement on issues related to Russia and on what to write in the final communiqué, the document the KP puts out at the end of the plenary, summarizing what the participants agreed on. As a result, there was no communiqué, and it looks like there won't be one. This has never happened after a plenary in 20 years of the Kimberley Process. Without a communiqué, no decisions taken at the plenary are technically approved. So what exactly is this disagreement about? In its most superficial form, it was about a letter that Ukraine sent to the KP before the meeting, calling for there to be an agenda item on the role of diamonds in financing Russia's war. What I'm saying here is from a well-placed source as an NGO. The countries that belong to the G7 group of nations, including the US, Canada, the UK and the European Union, wanted the communiqué to refer to the fact that this letter was discussed and that they supported it. However, they faced opposition from a number of countries. I don't know exactly who, but it was likely Russia and its allies such as Belarus and the Central African Republic. Negotiations went on until 2 a.m. on the last night of the plenary, at which point the KP Civil Society Coalition, one of the pillars of the KP, walked out. After the meeting, Civil Society Coordinator Michel Yobue complained that the plenary could not even admit in writing that this Ukrainian letter existed. The Russian government has referred to it as an attempt to distort the agenda of the plenary. Following the Zimbabwe event, Russian Deputy Finance Minister Alexei Moisev issued an open letter of his own, claiming that Western countries unreasonably disrupted the adoption of the final communiqué. This blockage, Russia argued, was to the detriment of important issues that the current KP chair Zimbabwe had been working on. According to the Russian minister, not one participant outside the Western bloc spoke out to support what it called the West's, quote, aggressive rhetoric. With no final communiqué, it's unclear whether all the other decisions the KP took at the plenary have technically been approved. It's also unclear what this means for the funding of the KP next year. The United Arab Emirates, which is taking over from Zimbabwe as chair of the KP in January 2024, also weighed in, saying that, quote, certain governments persist in using the forum to obstruct vital decisions. While all of this has not happened before, there have been deadlocks in the past. A year ago, Western entities, including the EU, Canada, and the US, called for the Ukraine war to be on the agenda at the 2022 plenary in Botswana, but because of a lack of consensus, the topic was not brought for discussion. But the argument is about much more than one letter. We cannot forget that this comes amid ongoing debate over the G7's plans to impose sanctions on Russian diamonds. These proposals have proven contentious, mainly because of the extra administrative burden they place on the informal mining sector. In its letter, Russia claimed there wouldn't be enough global rough supply to compensate for the absence of Russian goods, and that lab-grown diamonds would end up booming as a way of filling the gap. This all shows how high the tensions are in the diamond industry at the moment, and nowhere are they higher than at the Kimberley Process. If you like this video, please subscribe to get every new one we make on a weekly basis, discussing trends and analysis in the diamond industry. This video is brought to you by Rapnet, the world's largest and most trusted diamond trading network. If you buy and sell diamonds, Rapnet is the right solution for you. Find out more at rapnet.com. Wishing everyone a happy and peaceful week ahead.